in divinity in terms of your place with that, right? And then you come with the main piece, I like that, is you brought that question, how can I forget? Which that could be a barrier to people to actually forgive. I like that. Then you came with yours and just kind of smoothed it out. You know, so, hey, I like that. I like that. Keep working on your craft, all right? And hey, this platform is always going to be open for y'all. Even as it grows, you know what I mean? You need somewhere where you can be able to express.
That's right.
You follow what I'm saying? You know, that's what I share with my daughter all the time is, you know, you have a voice, your voice has to be heard.
That's right.
And I'm not saying it's all about, you know, your voice being suppressed. I've been in this game a long time when I was younger. So I had the duty and responsibility to make sure to bring up, you know, some other younger voices, no matter what type of platform or form it's in. Because y'all got to be heard. You know what I mean? And the change will come to y'all. Because us, we're going to have to open the door for y'all to make the changes. We got to teach you how to go about doing the changes. Y'all got to execute and be it, and then add other solutions with it. All right? So, in all sincerity, thank you for coming up and sharing what you have. All right?
Okay.
You know, so, and on a real tip, I got some more stuff. We'll see what we can probably do for next week or whatever for session 2. You know what I mean? So, hey, one love on that. I definitely did that. Keep coming to fire. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into the other part. Now, some of us understand, some of us know me as Satori, you know, SEALs. And some know me as, you know, G SEALs, some know me as Jura Satori SEALs. And that knows way back in the day. What we're going to do is get into this session. It's called the Paradigm to Truth. So Paradigm to Forgiveness. And one thing I want you to understand is that unforgiveness is all around us. We can identify it and see it in many different scenarios in life. The question I want to ask is, how does unforgiveness exist? Because we see forgiveness operate all around us, right? All of us can account for unforgiveness that we carry, unforgiveness that we see someone else that projected upon us. But the question is, how does it exist? So you got to understand something. Life is neutral. Life only embodies and showcases what we are and what we project into it. So your heart is the vehicle for unforgiveness. Your heart is also the vehicle for forgiveness. Your heart is also the vehicle for truth. And your heart is also the vehicle for untruth. So the question is, what is in your heart? If we seek more forgiveness in our lives, that means you're around a lot of people that's unforgiving. You follow what I'm saying? It's really that simple. So for unforgiveness is not detached from us, even though we act like it is sometimes. So the root cause to unforgiveness is the self, our hearts, what we are carrying, or what we are allowing to sway us from being a forgiving manner into an unforgiving manner. Okay? Are you still with me? Now, if you look on the handout, if you look on the handout, I have like a little matrix that says how unforgiveness is channeled. Does everybody see that? It looks like this. Okay? I kind of just want to brief over this real quick. And if something hits you, you know, just signal me and let me know, a question or whatever. It's open, all right? This is not like really a straight, all about me. It's about us. We all. Okay? Now, what I did was, I went in here and began to kind of just outline and help us understand how unforgiveness is channeled in our lives. Because it comes from many different arenas, many different vehicles, we already understand it comes from our heart, right? But sometimes we see in society, we see unforgiveness being encouraged in society, right? In our communities, in our homes, among our peer groups, and etc. Okay, so if you look at this, I I broke it down a little bit. Like you have the ideological aspect, okay? And under the ideological aspect, where unforgiveness can be channeled at, you have religion, you have education, you have media, you have culture, okay? Then you look at some of the methods under that. So in religion, some of the methods that happens is things are presented in a dogmatic way, which it means it's presented in a very opinionated way, which gives you the opinion to think that it's a, it's an opinion if I want to, forgive. Forgiveness revolves on a choice, but it gives you more of an opinionated view of forgiveness. All right? Opinion, if you break that word down, is a word, Hebrew word, kakayif, which means to be divided in mind. Divided in mind to the point where you become skeptic. So the opinions that the word that religion sometimes will present is it'll make us skeptical of actually forgiving. So the very thing that's supposed to free you and to help enlighten you, you become a skeptic at the very thing that's supposed to help you get you where you need to be. Yet religion is supposed to be representative of the message of forgiveness. I'm not going to go. I'm gonna let that soak in. Y'all catching what I just said right there? I'm just flowing now, so y'all gotta let me know. All right? Okay. So, but also here's a key word: exoterically. It's also presented exoterically. And some of us understand you have esoteric, which means the inner meanings, the inner definitions. You have the exoteric, which is the outer meaning. So sometimes what happens is in the area of forgiveness is taught on the outside. It's more decorative, or they give you more rules. They give you you should forgive. A good example is like, when we was growing up, the parents tell you, go forgive them. And you will say, I'm sorry. But their heart might not have been involved in it. So exoterically, they pardoned. They said, I'm sorry. But esoterically, they didn't forgive. Because the heart did not forgive. Are you still with me?
Yeah.
Okay, so then when you look at education, education saturates us with what? A bunch of theories, right? Mm-hmm. Theories and what? Opinions. Yeah. So you have religion saturated with opinions and untruths. And understand the untruth is hidden, the untruth blocks the truth. Until we deal with our untruth, we can't find the truth. So a lot of times you see unforgiveness, you see untruth there because unforgiveness brings in illusions. I'm going to get into that. All right? So, you're saturated with theories. And that's what education does. And those that went through college education, things like that, you take sociology class and things like that, you get a lot of things, right, Dorian? You get a lot of theories, right? You get a lot of different schools of thought, a lot of philosophical reasonings, logic. Some of it's beneficial, but if you don't have a base, you can't filter through it. To see how it presents you. What happens is when you don't have a base, and you don't have a personal filter, what begins to happen is you begin to bombard with all these different opinions, and you become a skeptic of forgiveness. So you treat it more from a logic or from a intellectual type thing, instead of really trying to get into the metaphysical, the spiritual aspect of it. You follow what I'm saying? Okay. So, and what happens is education gives you, like I point out right here, the result is they give you, for religion, the result they give you is shallowness. How many can stand here right here, a lot of times people are religious, we say what? They're shallow. Right? They have hard hearts. Right? Come on, can I get can I get a church? Can I get a witness? Right? And then also, here's another key word, they're stagnant. Stagnant. Or become a valley of dry bones. And we see that going on in our communities. We see that going on in our families. How many people know people in our families are walking dead? Right, stagnated. Come on, the young folk. I know y'all observe the older folk.
Everybody over the age of 60.
Stagnant.
No reason.
No reason. How about people around 40? They stuck. Because somewhere down the line there's some type of unforgiveness or some type of lack of self-reflection that has them locked in to a certain reality. If you really start stripping it down to the very basic compound, you'll find out there's unforgiveness somewhere that's locking somebody in that reality. And they're locked. That's what we're talking about, the paradigm to forgiveness. Because a paradigm is about shifting a pattern. Para means to go beyond. So you go beyond your current patterns so that you can shift your patterns. So what happens is you begin to shift your own grids that you have going on. You see what I'm saying? So forgiveness helps you re-encode yourself and help you steer yourself back on a proper pattern of liberation, of enlightenment, of self-reflection, of self-realization, restoration, peace, freedom. You follow what I'm saying? All right? And detachment. Right? And detachment. All right, still with me? Okay, so then, the education piece of the result we see is you get a conceptual forgiveness versus a practical forgiveness. Okay? Then media, it projects ideas and images. You follow what I'm saying? Media projects all kinds of images. They flood images and ideas. Now the thing is, what it does is it shifts the climate of opinion. So what happens is it helps fuel skepticism. So picture a grid. You got horizontal lines and vertical lines and horizontal lines. You got ideas, you got habits, you have all these different type of things pervading in the atmosphere that you really don't see. But all these things will enrapture you. These ideas and images will fuel you and lock you into a certain reality. And see, the more you're skeptical of yourself, right? You're skeptical of what your situation is going on. You're skeptical of how you look at society. And what happens is you project that very thing you're projecting it back upon yourself. So what happens is you get isolated things. So with media, what they do is they shift you away. They shift you away from forgiveness. They shift you away from truth. They shift you away from loving. And what happens is, you know why? Because people start devaluing. It's so funny is because I was in here black. And we'd be like, you know what? Niggas can't get together. Right. Now, why is that thought there? Now, don't get me wrong, with some observational truths with that. Right. But that don't have to be the reality. Right. So why is that? Because something was supplanted there. Because your very essence, your core, your being is unity. Yeah. You can't function and live without yourself being unity. Wait till something gets out of harmony inside yourself and see what happens to you. Sick. You become sick. If it doesn't get dealt enough times, you might be dead. You get what I'm saying? All right. So media conveys that. So it saturates our atmosphere with all these different, making us skeptical. The climate, the pool of opinions to keep you indifferent from forgiving. That's why it's so hard for some people to begin to find the right path to get their own release that they need in their lives.
Say that one more time.
Sometimes, the media, they're trying to find that path, and they can't find their path because all this skepticism that's going on, and they can't find their own personal release, that inner release. People looking for that outer release. So some of the obvious things, we go to, drugstores, and we, people using drug, mixing a little. What's that again? Bath salts and doing, we do all these outward things. You got people going to drugs. You got people, going to alcohol. You got all these different type of things to try to supplant. I'm sorry, not supplant, but to try to quench an inner desire, an inner void. Go ahead.
But I think it's because it starts with religion. Religion teaches you that everything you need is outside of yourself. So, take education, media, culture, it all stems from what we're taught as children, a lot of us coming up. Everything is outside of yourself. I know me coming up Christian, God was outside of me. If I needed something, I had to go to the pastor first. There was never an introspection of what I needed to do for myself. So I think it all ties into where we start religiously. A lot of us start in religion, and you're taught from a child. No, it's not here. Look outside of yourself for everything you need.
That's key. That's powerful. I totally agree. And that's amazing because I know American people still carry that understanding. And that's the very thing that's blocking them
From their freedom.
from their freedom. Because no matter how in the wordplay they'll say, but it's not personal. It's not experiential. You follow what I'm saying? And I always teach that truth is experiential. It's not theory. And truth is measurable. You know, people are like, I don't agree with, well, just sit back and look at your life. You can observe. We can draw some measurements and see if you're operating in truth. You know, check one, you know. All right, so, but that's powerful because that goes back to the religion, like I said, the religion piece, the exoteric part. He's outside of me. You follow what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And even to Veggie back on what she's saying, even from childhood, even if you're not necessarily religious, you're taught that you're not your own entity. Your parents, there's this hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So when you want to do something, you ask me. They don't teach you to ask yourself. You know, so I think everything is like a mirror. It all reflects the same bringing. It's all the same thought, concept, and process. Whether it's religion, education, it's like I'm the teacher. No, you're the teacher. I'm the teacher. And if you teach a child that coming up,
you have a thinking child.
Yeah, and the child, I think,
You have a thinking child. That's how my father, raised me. I came up thinking. You a thinker. Because like you said,
I got four in the house.
Right. Because here's the thing is because when you stop questioning, you stop growing. Right. When you stop questioning, your mind stops developing. So